Nancy Pelosi, here she is, Miss 99%er herself.
Somehow when she was speaking to reporters, baseball came up.
Giants. So you all. How about the Giants? And how about the Orioles?
Talk about how
The Giants. But my father brought the Orioles to Baltimore when he was mayor of Baltimore, so I'm happy to see them do so well. My next door neighbor owns the Nationals, so there's a lot of good teams back there.
My dad brought the Orioles
to Baltimore when he was the mayor of Baltimore, and my next door neighbor owns the Washington Nationals. And
but get Mitt Romney.
Yeah. Remember Mitt Romney with his? I bet you $10,000 that's not true.
I can't believe this man will bet $10,000. How out of touch is he? Wow. My dad purchased the Baltimore Orioles and brought them to Baltimore when he was the mayor. And then he became king of New England. And that's when he brought the New England paper.
Speaking of Ebola, my neighbor owns Nigeria.
And Ebola. The virus itself, he invented it and owns the rights.
Everybody who's sick has to pay him to be sick. She is one of the people, man.
Just one of the people.
Just one of the people. So these people, you know what it is? They've never been pushed. Pat and I were on a plane discussing vigorously some people the other day. As we remember when we were on the plane looking down at all the little people. Yes. And we were discussing vigorously some people that we know that are lefties. Thursday morning, here's a news story breaking now. This happened this morning in Atlanta at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. A guy named Dr. Gil Mobley. He's a microbiologist and emergency trauma physician in Springfield, Missouri. He went to the airport today. He checked in and was cleared through Atlanta airport security wearing a mask, goggles, gloves, boots, and a hooded white jumpsuit. On the back were the words, "The CDC is lying." The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports that this doctor in the airport, who they checked through, he said, if they're not lying, they're grossly incompetent. The CDC is sugarcoating the risk of the virus spreading in the United States. This is according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Missouri doctor Thursday boarded a plane at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport dressed in full protection gear to protest what he calls mismanagement of the crisis by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I will tell you, they are out of control. They are completely incompetent on this. Dr. Gil Mobley checked in, cleared the airport security wearing mask, gloves, goggles, boots, and a hooded white jumpsuit. Mobley said they are sugarcoating the risk of the virus spreading to the United States. For them to say last week that the likelihood of importing an Ebola case was extremely small was a really bad call. Once this disease consumes every third world country, as surely it will, because they lack some basic infrastructure as Sierra Leone and Liberia, at that point, we will be importing clusters of Ebola on a daily basis. That will overwhelm any advanced country's ability to contain the clusters in isolation and quarantine, and that spells bad news. The quarantine is not going to happen. We're not quarantining people. This guy has seen how many people, and we're not quarantining him. In fact, he came in, he was vomiting blood, said, I was with an Ebola victim. I'm now vomiting blood. I'm bleeding from my eyes. I have a fever. I just got in. Hey, boy, are my arms tired. I just flew in from West Africa. And they let him go. Meanwhile, the White House is saying, don't worry about our borders. As Jeffy said a minute ago, if I were Al-Qaeda, I would say, instead of blowing you up, you're going to meet Allah another way. It's not going to be as fast, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to go over to West Africa. And I want you to, they can't buy a vial of blood, Ebola blood? Of course they can. I want you to go over and get some Ebola. You and 6 people, you're not going to know who they are. You're all going to drink the Ebola. Then you're going to get on a plane. You go to Mexico or you go to the United States. Doesn't matter. You can fly right into the United States. They're not going to say anything. And then in the next 21 days, I want you to go and I want you to work out. I want you to sweat as much as you can. I want you to go to the biggest health centers. I want you to sweat. We're also giving you sweating with the oldies. And you go play this on your Walkman. I'm getting one of those too. We had to get it out of a museum. And I want you to go do your daily walks at every mall you can find. I want you to go to the biggest concerts you can find. I want you to have sex with as many people as you can, all for Allah. You're going to die in the end. But you're going to bring the great Satan to her knees. It's what I do. It's free. It's an airline ticket. I don't have to smuggle anything in. All I have to do is get them sick. Why we are not checking passports, and if you have been in the West Africa, if you've been anywhere near the West Africa region in the last 21 days, we're going to probably keep you in this room here for another 30 before we allow you access to the United States. That's what we used to do around the Statue of Liberty. Why we're not doing that is beyond me. So here's this guy dressing up in goggles to get some attention, a doctor saying they're lying or they're grossly incompetent. I think they're both.